Hey guys, welcome to my 2019 bullet journal setup video. Just wanted to let you guys know that I am going to try to speak as normally as possible throughout this video, but I am talking a little bit more muted because my son's asleep, which also means you're probably going to hear his swing and bird noises, but we're just going to have to embrace that and move on. So here's my cover page. I kept it really simple. It took me forever to think of something to do, and I saw this on Pinterest. I really struggle with cover pages. My 2 journals last year have blank pages at the start because I just couldn't think of anything to do. So I have moved into a new journal for this, so I'll talk more about that later on in the video, but I really like it. It's a Dingbats Wildlife journal, and so far it's working out really well. So here I'm working on my index. This journal does not have page numbers, which is kind of a bummer, but I can just add those in as I go along and work on each spread. So I do like indexing things at the beginning of the journal just so I can reference them later. So on the right hand side I've got the index, and on the left hand side I've got the key. I've got 2 pages of index, but I'm not going to waste the time to show you that I made the exact same page on the back of that one. So anyway, for the setup I kept it really simple theme wise and color wise. It's just minimal black and gray. That's really all that I was going for. There's one page where I used 2 other accent colors, but that's it. So here I'm working on my year at a glance page. I have not done this in any of my journals up until now because I kind of felt like it was a pointless page for me, but I was thinking about all the times that I go through and reference the calendar on my phone in my planning, like when I'm thinking things through for the future or whatever. I always look at my phone, and so I figured I can just throw this in here and use it. There I am, using my phone again, but I can use it to reference, throughout the year. So there it is, all filled out, because I wasn't going to waste the time to show you myself filling out a bunch of different dates. So that's just my year at a glance page. Now we're moving on to the future log. You'll see in a little bit that I separated my future log and my birthdays, which is not something I've done in the past, but I found that it got really crowded. So I did separate those 2 things, and I just went with simple rectangles for this, and it's going to leave me plenty of room to write future appointments, events, whatever I need to write in these boxes. So I finished the whole video and realized I didn't update on my feelings on the journal, so I thought I'd throw it in right here. I love it a lot. The only negative that I have is that the perforated pages bend a little bit if you're too rough during setup or erasing or anything, but it's really well made. It feels wonderful, and the pages have incredible quality and even handle watercolor well, so I love it. Is what I'm using to track my birthdays. I saw someone share this layout, I think on Facebook, and I loved it. I thought it was really great. When I finally saw this, I had already had everything sketched out and set up, so I had to completely erase several pages and rearrange, because to me it's really important to get the initial setup of the bullet journal exactly how I want. So if that means like the specific spreads that I had to redo, I redid them 3 times, and it was my savings tracker and my weight loss tracker. And so on my weight loss tracker, you'll see in a bit, it's the same one I've done in my previous journals, but it's just boxes. So I've got 50 boxes on that page, and that's kind of sad. Like, it's the same one in my previous journal, so I really need to get going so that I can actually use it. But anyway, whatever. So I erased those spreads so that I could put this spread here across 2 pages, because previously I just had the birthdays on 1 page. So I saw this and I really liked it, so I wanted to use it. It's really simple, but just the layout is something that I really liked. So that was a long way to say I'm using this to keep track of the birthdays this year. So in my last journal, Well, okay, so my last journal, I had a Scribbles That Matter journal, and I really loved it, and I was going to repurchase that for this year, but it wasn't available. So just basically, long story short, I was going to fit about 6 months in that bullet journal, and that would have me ending in February, and I didn't want to start a journal in February, so I went ahead and purchased this one so that I could start it in March. And I think that this journal will also last about 6 months, so I only have 6 rectangles here, and these will suffice as my monthly review pages. On the top, I'll have a section to write the highlight of each month, and then on the bottom part, I will just jot a little bit about what happened. So I only have 1 page of that, but I think that this journal will only last 6 months anyway. So that was a really simple spread, but I really do enjoy looking back on those. So now this is my favorite spread that I've ever done in my bullet journals so far, and it's a quotes page, and pretty much that just includes quotes from my nephews Grayson and Henry. We spend a lot of time together, and they say seriously the funniest things, so I write them down on my quotes page, and it is by far my favorite spread to look back on in my last few journals. And this last year, I'm going to do a flip through of my journal, but my favorite quote of Grayson, who is my 5-year-old nephew, is just X. One time we were talking about something for dinner, and I said, "Do you want this?" And he said X, and I was confused, and he was like, "X means no." So it was just really funny the way he said it, and it was so sassy, and I appreciated it a lot. And my favorite thing from Henry, who is my 3-year-old nephew, he said, "Spider-Man don't stink," and I just love that, and I say it all the time, and those are my favorite quotes. So anyway, I'll do a flip through and read more in a different video about funny things that they've said throughout the time that I was using my last bullet journal. So now actually to talk about the page that you're seeing currently, this is kind of a year in pixels page, and honestly when I'm actually filming this setup, I think it's like January 25th, so I've missed so many days and it's gonna look kind of janky. I'll try to remember those days, but I'm just going to use this to track the days that I think I've been sufficiently productive, and that's kind of my main thing that I want to track, because it's really easy for me to just get distracted and not actually do the things that I set out to do, especially now that I'm staying home with Owen. I need to be really intentional, and that's kind of my word of the year, if you will, is just being intentional with everything that I'm doing. And so I'm just going to pick a color, probably gray, because why not, and color in each of the squares here on the days that I've been productive. So saw that on Facebook too, thought it was really cool, and so I incorporated it. And rather than doing like a whole like goals page, I guess this is a goals page, and I just liked the way that it was instead of just having boxes with a goal written in it. So instead of that, it's this year, and so it says like this year, and then you write a statement, and then the latter half of the statement. I don't know, I'm doing a really bad job of explaining this, but on this spread, these are basically my goals of this year. So I've got it written down. Hold on, I'm flipping to the page so I can read it, if I can ever find it. Oh my word, here it is. Like the top one, it says a bad habit I'd like to break, and then my response to that is too much caffeine. The next one is a new skill I'd like to learn, and my response to that is watercolor, because I'm working on that now and I'm having a lot of fun with it. So I just thought that was a really great thing. I didn't actually show myself writing in all of the goals in this video because I didn't think it was necessary. So moving on to this next spread. On the right, I've just got a super simple savings tracker. I've just written out rectangles with the month written in it, and I'm going to color it in with a light gray for every month that we save the amount of money that we've set out to save for this year. And then on the left, I've got my weight loss tracker. Again, I erased and redid these 2 particular spreads 3 different times, and on the right I've got 50 boxes, and on the right I've got 12 boxes, and on the left I've got 50 boxes. So whatever that is times 3, I did it that many times. So anyway, again, same weight loss spread I've done in the last few bullet journals, and I did actually succeed with losing some of the baby weight, just not all of it. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep going. This is the last spread in this setup, and I decided, you know, I wasn't gonna put this in the video because I don't often, you know, share this information with strangers, but I'm not really actually sharing any information, so it's fine. But I'm tracking my menstrual cycle, so I think it'll be important to know when things are happening and any changes. So I'm leaving the right page of this spread blank just so I can write anything down, any changes that occur, especially being postpartum. Things get, I don't know, different. So I'm just writing like the first letter of each month across the top, and then underneath I've written out in vertical columns the whatever, and then the date, and then I wrote Lady Business at the top. So there's that. And then here we are with our flip through. Very simple setup, but I really enjoyed it. Took a lot of time to get everything done, but I'm happy that I did it, even though it was late in the game to get started. But I hope you enjoyed. If you did, feel free to like and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video.